All right, ladies and gentlemen, what is going on? How's everybody doing today? It is a Saturday night, 10:05 p.m. It's a pretty good day. I guess Game Addict's having a little bit of a storm, but I think that's okay. I think we should be able
Crazy.
to
Big storm.
should be able to still keep going. Hopefully it goes by because I like to play some video games later, but who knows? Anyways, I know it's been a long time since we've done this. It's been, I think, 3 weeks, almost 4 weeks. This will be the fourth week, so it's been almost a month. I know some of you guys have been really wanting this, and I kind of stopped to take a breath, fresh air from a different game. I played Rainbow for a while, and I wanted to step away and just play something else and enjoy my time, and kind of take a step away from YouTube just to gather my thoughts and everything, and just have a good time. Which I have, just to ground myself, reground myself, I guess you could say. And so we're going to be getting the show back on the road. This episode will be on Game Addict's channel, which you can obviously find if you type in !Game Addict in chat. You can see his YouTube video. So this here podcast will be over there and not on my channel. We're going to be building up his channel, so hopefully we get a bigger viewer base over there as well. But we are going to be talking about Rainbow Six today. Some of the biggest events have been happening, specifically this week, guys, considering the Pro League. And Game Addict's been keeping track of what's been happening. He's been following it. I kind of took a backseat, just, hung out, just like, I'll watch all this stuff, see what's going on. But I really haven't dove into it as much as he has. So he's been doing it. So anyways, with that said, guys, welcome to, I think, the 11th or 10th podcast.
I think it's the 11th. The 11th.
It's the 11th? Okay, so it's the 11th podcast. So welcome, everybody. This is live on stream. I'm your host, Microwave Gaming.
And I am his co-host, Game Addict.
And we will be discussing some of the hottest topics of Rainbow Six, and we might delve into Fortnite if we have some extra time. I don't know, time kind of constricts us sometimes because we just really go on sometimes. We beat these things down until we fully think that we have covered all the bases on some of these topics, whether it be patch notes or something big that happened. So with that, Game Addict, do you want to say what's been kind of going on? Let's
start out with some good news for you. All right, I guess it's bad news, depending on who you're a fan of. There has been some teams that are not making it to LAN this year.
Yes. What the hell happened, dude?
Well, sometimes things just get shaken up in the Pro League. We have shuffles, we have performance losses, we have issues with teams, but we're not seeing Era, F3, and Elevate. All big teams. Era last year had won under a different moniker, but they were the champions of last year's LAN. So it's sad to see some of our favorite players go because they all have a lot of fans. F3, Elevate especially, they had a ton of fans. They had Charms last year. They were big, right? They were huge.
Right. Doesn't Elevate have a charm now? I think you can buy that, right?
Yeah, they have another one, I believe.
Okay, so if you guys want, you guys can buy the charm now in the game for Elevate. They just opened up, so they didn't make it, I guess, like you said. But if you do support the team, you still love the players. There's some really good players on there. Go buy the charm. Anyways,
right.
Continue where you left off. Sorry about that.
Right. So now we've got an exciting grouping coming up. The teams that did make it were Most Wanted, Rogue, Infamy, and Continuum. It's really exciting, I think, to see Continuum back in there personally.
Me too. I like Continuum.
Right? Yeah. They're an old favorite, right? There's a bunch of good guys on that team. And so if you guys aren't aware, Monday night is going to be I think the first set of the playoff games, and Thursday is going to be the next set of games. And this is going to see who's going to LAN, right? So it's exciting.
It's exciting. Yeah,
very exciting.
It's going to be a big moment, because I think is this the winner's bracket or the loser's bracket? It should be the winner's.
This is the winner's bracket. Yeah.
Winner's bracket, right? Okay, so they're not out of the LAN yet, though, right? So they'll go to the lower bracket to fight some of the other players that unfortunately lost, but they're not out of the woods yet.
Well, so whoever loses their game on Monday, those people will be playing Thursday in the losers bracket, and the people that win will be playing in the winners bracket on Thursday. So there's still a chance, right? There's still a chance, but it's still a chance. It's an exciting mix-up. Like I said, there were teams that we really love that aren't going to LAN this year, or that a lot of people love. I loved Era. I love those guys a lot. but it's cool to see that there are some new guys going to LAN in PC.
Some fresh blood,
right?
New meat,
right, and that's always awesome. And there are some obviously there's returning players on those teams, but it's cool to see the shakeups happen. It's cool to see our old teams doing well again. I'm excited for this upcoming LAN, but there is a more pressing topic, which chat has like lit up already. By the way, like
I can see it. Yeah,
yeah, they don't even care.
A lot of numbers.
Yeah, the memes flow. The memes flow. So
already, dude.
right, already, man.
They know.
Right, everybody knows. Everybody knows what's going on, and I mean, obviously, you can see right there. There's even emotes already made for this. That's how big it got so quickly. And
ridiculous.
So if you didn't know, if you hadn't heard, there's been a little scandal in the Pro League.
Oh, take it away. What happened? Let us know. Fill us in.
So, this happened in the game. It was B Genius versus Penta. And after the game, after their match, Penta protested this match, and they said
Penta won though, right?
They did beat them, right? But they still said something was wrong, something was fishy,
right?
And they said macros VPN and manipulating ping were being used, as well as TeamViewer, right?
TeamViewer,
right? And so this kind of harkens back to Pro League Season 1 for me. This brings back some memories of a guy named Clever on VWS. Yeah.
How do you know though?
Yeah. He comes back. He's like, oh yeah, no, he's in kitchen. Yeah. So either way, it's
silent dropped.
Right.
What? How'd you figure that out, bro?
Right. So this to me was like, no, this is crazy. This is crazy that we're having something like this in year 2, or right? This is year 2, season 3, or year 3, season 2. Year 2, season 3.
Yeah.
It's insane. It's insane that we have something like this. And in the report that ESL did, they did an internal investigation. They found that Shaiiko had pressed a sequence 444 47 times and 44444 24 times. Right, with almost inhuman reaction time in between them, and they were very, very consistent. Right. Right, and so there's a lot of speculation on what that could be. It's hard to know. Is it a macro for leaning? Is it a macro for firing? Is it a macro for activating cheats?
Right.
Like personally, I think it was cheats, man. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, I mean, the guy dropped like 15 kills on the first game, and then dropped like 12 kills on the second game of Penta. I don't know what he dropped on the third, but he ended up accumulating. Like I remember reading chat, watching the game, and Tristan, goes by Ranger, he even said that Shaiiko in this game is going to blow the statistics out the water for one round of games. So he's basically saying like, this dude is just destroying every statistic known from the first season to the current season. And the fact that the guy that's holding all the stats, you guys can go check him out. I'm pretty sure it's at Ranger R6. We'll have a description down below in the for the video for you guys. I'll find him for the Twitch streamers a little bit later. But anyways, he's basically saying that this guy is just wrecking people, and it's been unheard of. So I did see that in chat, so you can go back and watch the VOD. But continue what you're saying. Yeah. So I
think that personally it's cheats for me. Like the
it's cheats?
I do. The sequence in which those are like pressed, and a lot of times I think what macros are used for in that instance is for these cheat programs and to activate and deactivate your cheats.
Right.
There's been video evidence of him like stutter stepping as he's sprinting, and that's kind of sometimes an indication of activating cheats using a macro.
Now, there's also some moments where I clipped it for the on Twitch. He was going down blue, and he did it wasn't an instantaneous flick, but it was a flick enough to where he was aiming at a head through the blue wall of Clubhouse, which you guys are, if you guys don't know, there's the blue drop by the stock room, and then you have the church, and then the Moto. Well, he was aiming through all 3 of those walls into that hallway by church wall at a head, and it was like a boop boop, and then he got off of it. And that was kind of fishy to me. And I even asked in chat, like, while it was live, I was like, wasn't this guy like some sort of cheater or something like that? Everybody's like, well, yeah. Some people said yeah, some people said no. So I guess I wonder if that's what brought up Penta to bring up that conversation, to really look into it. Because again, like you said, it is weird that you hit those macros. Like you say, you think it's cheats. I don't know.
Yeah, I do.
I don't know what it is. But the fact that he has something that he was manipulating, whatever it is,
right?
There was something that wasn't supposed to be happening, right?
Right. I mean,
that's what you got the ban for.
Right, and even in like Rainbow Six in general, macros are like forbidden. It says forbidden in the rules. You're not allowed to use them. So I don't know if like special treatment's going to be used here again. Like, are they going to ban this guy? Like we've seen in the past special treatment be given to pros. He's only banned from ESL for 2 years.
Right, but well, yeah, okay. Oh, so you're saying do you think they'll ban him from the video game? So
right, from Rainbow Six, because if ESL is saying that they did an investigation, and even B Genius kind of wrote an article on their own website saying like we don't agree with this ruling, like we kind of stand behind our players. They ended up actually replacing Shaiiko with a new player like yesterday or today or something. It was fairly soon. But
yeah, they got to keep going.
Right, you have to keep going. But they initially had said, like, we don't agree with this. We think this was, like, a bad ruling. You didn't take your time with this ruling.
It was hastily given, I believe. I read the response, yeah.
Right. And, I mean, they did take a week before they announced what they were going to be ruling. So they did internally investigate. They looked at the wire logs, which is really what kind of told them what was going on. A lot of people think that the Moss files are what is what they're looking at, but that just takes screenshots. Just random screenshots. But there were inconsistencies. Right, there were inconsistencies even in the screenshots from the team viewer being open to 2 monitors set up, but it's only taking a screenshot of 1 monitor. So, you know, there were some fishy things going on, man.
Sounds like I'm just saying. I think
right.
a big reason why people love this stuff, you know, why it's kind of gone to the extent it's gone, is that if you guys don't know, there was a player named VWS.Clever. He didn't get the ban. He kind of got away with it, essentially. Made it to LAN, and I don't think he played, but he ended up getting some of the portion of the money. I think they placed 3rd.
Right.
He essentially carried their team to LAN and then didn't compete at LAN and got a portion of the prize, and was not ruled a cheater officially. They did say that there was something very, very fishy, but they couldn't put words to it. I think a reason why this kind of blew up is simply for the fact that actually happened to this guy. So it feels like we have some justice, you know, maybe not to that individual, Clever, which I don't know what that guy's doing now, but you know, we now have some justice for Shaiiko. So I think it feels good, you know, now that they did something about this at least. So
yeah, no, it does. It kind of brings closure to a feeling that was a wound, we could almost call it, that was left untreated.
Yeah. It really hurt the esports scene, honestly, for Rainbow Six. It really did, man. The fact that everybody knew he was a cheater and they didn't call it, I think it did damage it for sure.
Yeah.
That's my own personal opinion.
No, I mean, clearly, right. I mean, anything that we say is our opinion, man. Like, you know, that's fine if you think it did damage it. I think it did a little damage as well. I think we could be a little bit further if a scandal like that didn't hit so soon. But now that we've kind of taken care of this scandal now, you know, for how big it did get, it kind of blew over easy. Let's hopefully not deal with it again. But it's kind of disheartening to see that something like this was, I don't know, slipping through the crack. Yeah, possible in Pro League.
It's possible, right?
I don't know, man. Like,
wasn't he lag switching too?
And that's what the VPN abuse and like ping manipulation is.
Right.
Make your server
guys. Yeah, to make a layman's term, whenever he was going toward an engagement, which you would know if you were able to see through walls when you're about to fight an opponent, you would lag switch it to where if you get if you had the higher ping, your initial peak would allow you to see the player before the enemy sees you. Therefore, if you played aggressively on top of lag switching, you then could destroy your enemies without them even happening, which is why, unfortunately, not really, don't want to bring it up, but it is a spicy topic. There's a player that I love, Gurmy Wormy, who has higher ping. Unfortunately, if you guys live on the West Coast and they make you connect to Central, you have some shitty ping. So, you know, there is that where high ping players, they play differently. You know, Gurmy Wormy is a very aggressive player, and the ping does help a little bit, but that's essentially what was happening. So who knows?
No, it's true. It's a weird situation to deal with.
Yeah,
but
some players can't avoid it, though. That's what I'm trying to say. Some players cannot avoid that, having high ping. Like I myself, am I have high ping. If you've ever watched one of my streams, I always have over 100 ping. It doesn't matter if I'm West Coast or East Coast or Central. It doesn't matter. I have over 100. There's nothing I can do about it. So there are some players that do have that, and that is not 100% confirmed that Shaiiko was doing the lag switch, but it appeared to be the case. That's what I'm trying to say. Let me clarify that for everybody. So anyways,
it's true.
So Shaiiko got banned. Elevate got knocked out by didn't they? Yeah.
Yeah, no, Elevate
Who did they get knocked out by?
Man, I'd have to go back and look at the bracket. I feel like they got knocked out by Infamy.
Infamy, all right. That is who got it. That's weird. They were such a promising team. If you guys don't know Elevate is a very exceptional team. They destroyed the brackets in Xbox and then moved their way to PC just to stay within the Pro League. And they made it to land every single time except for this one. That's what most wanted. Okay.
And so if you didn't know as well, Microwave.
That is right, because they had a 33% or 37% chance that most wanted would win the community vote. So yeah, chat's right. It was most wanted. I think the first one was Infamous, though.
Nope, they're absolutely right. But yeah, looking at most wanted too. So Chala, King Leo, Trippin, Redeemer, Thinking Nate, like that. Yeah, they're a strong team. Like there are some people on that team that have been, like we said, to land. Like I said before, they're teams with veterans on them. So you know it was a big lead that people wanted, and you know it sucks. It's always terrible. Like I really wanted Era to go back to land this year.
Yeah, that does suck. I'm a man fan, as some of my viewers know, and it's unfortunate they can't. But what else do we have on our plate for the Pro League stuff?
Not much, to be honest. I mean, with Pro League, it's just going to be a big week. Like we just got through Super Week with Pro League. So if you guys like weren't aware, like they played back to back games, or just had like all the games back to back. It was pretty awesome. But it's now left us in this like lull of what's happening, and with the Shaiiko scandal, like that was kind of the hurricane that swept through after Pro League.
Like that was a huge topic.
Right, and it's, I mean, it kind of leads in me wanting to like touch on cheating in the game, like.
Okay. What about cheating?
It's prevalent right now, man, and it's
I would definitely agree.
It's really disheartening. I've seen people this season alone go from being like they were silvers or low golds, they're high plats or diamonds now.
That's rough.
It's insane. Yeah, it's insane.
Dude. Yeah, I mean, you and I, we played the bracket. You know, we got all the way, you know, doing our thing, and it felt like these players that I've never seen ever. You know, you and I played daily, and I never saw these players, but yet they were dropping like 15, you know, 20 kills. Like it was just insane. Like how the heck? I've never even heard of this guy. Who is this guy? And there's like video evidence of like so many, you know, hackers and cheaters. I've played against a bunch in the higher brackets, and it feels like every single day there's some pro out there being like, beware, this person's cheating and his whole team is cheating.
Yeah, really, it's true.
You know, I haven't really been following it too much, but I heard something on Twitter, something about like people are selling stuff, or like they're selling elo, so like now there's like being elo being sold or some crazy like that. Like they're like boosting people. I don't know what's going on with that, but
so I had heard a little about that. And this was only a little bit ago. This wasn't even recent. This was a few weeks ago, like maybe a month ago now, I feel like. And it had to do with the the cheater, or wasn't cheating and then became friends with cheater, One Tap. And he was selling elo. He was boosting people.
that guy. Ugh.
Yeah, that guy. Right.
That guy.
So, man, but you're saying so people are doing that again now?
Yeah, for sure. I've definitely ran into them and within the past 2-3 weeks, 100%. I have video of them. You know, I initially made 2 hacker videos, and to kind of like, you know, expose them, to show, you know, the community that they are still out there, that, you know, BattleEye isn't, you know, doing 100% of the job. But it feels like I was running into cheaters this season, like left and right, man. Like it felt like maybe 1 in every 5 games there was a blatant aimbotter. Like, I know that's an extreme, you guys might think it's an extreme exaggeration, but late night, that's when they come out and play. And as you guys know, I mostly play at late night. And I just stopped making videos on it because it was like the market was like, I hate to say it like that, but like the market was like oversaturated. You go to YouTube, you type in hackers Rainbow Six, there's like every YouTuber doing it. Like everybody's doing it right now. And like I was like, you know what, man, I'm not even gonna play the ranked right now. So I do feel like cheating is making its way back, unfortunately.
I do
being
as well.
so readily available, and
Yeah,
that really sucks, man, because, you know, I do love Rainbow Six. I hate to see it you know, come to that, especially with elo is so important at the beginning of the season, you know.
well, it's also, I think, sad that it speaks about how this game has kind of manipulated people in a way. If elo is that important to you guys, come on, you got to find a new hobby. Like
it is kind of sad, I think.
It is, but the fact that cheating is so prevalent that pros are saying there's cheaters. Everybody tweets maybe once a night, daily,
Yes.
right?
Daily. It's a daily thing. It's a daily
West
thing.
Coast, East Coast, doesn't matter. It's disheartening, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know
I mean, BattleEye is even, you know, being moved into other games. It makes me worried about other games too, you know, with how easy it is to surpass, I guess. But yeah, sorry.
Right. No, that's true. That's a very valid point. I think it's worth saying, if BattleEye is this breachable in like Rainbow Six, what's it going to be in another game?
Right.
But you know, what's also the ease of use, or like the base code that's going to be manipulated by hackers? Which one's going to be easier to crack in which game? Like a different game that uses Fortnite could be using Epic's engine, the Unreal Engine. Like so that's very easy to manipulate.
Right.
But we know that Rainbow Six had to just completely overhaul their I guess their foundation code, right? That's what they called it.
Is it foundation? I thought it was like framework or something. Like
Right.
that,
Okay, their framework,
way,
but right. So what they can build,
interchangeable.
right? What they can build their updates off of, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if they made it easier to manipulate that code. Who knows if hackers are able to manipulate just as much?
Yeah, so if you go watch another streamer, like a big streamer, I guarantee late night they're gonna run into at least 1 or 2 hackers, the cheaters. Like you can definitely, you'll see, and they'll talk about it, and they'll just either concede or just, you know, mess around. But I do think cheating is a problem that's come back into the game. It's reared its ugly head, and it's made it, you know, kind of unenjoyable, because that's really all I do is play ranked. I know Game Rank, that's all he really does too, is play ranked.
Yeah, man.
And,
That's
that's
I
all
feel
they
like
go
that's
to.
all we have.
Like all of, they do that. They go there to like just mess around, and it's unfortunate. I really wish that some steps would be taken to change it, because I love that game, man. And it just hurts to see it feel like season 1 or season 2 again.
Right.
So.
Right. No, and actually, I mean, even that personally, if you want to go back to season 1 and 2, I would be rather playing on that engine though than playing on the current version of it, I feel like.
Yeah, I feel like the game is a little bit wonky right now. It feels a little bit different. I don't know what it is, but it feels like shots are not registering even with good ping. I tried to play it the other day again, and some of the shots that I fired, like I even went frame by frame, the bullet clearly was going to hit the head, or did, and it just didn't even show up like at all. They had full HP. I mean, you can go check my VODs if you don't believe me. It's very weird. I don't know how to explain it, but I feel like this season's kind of off a little bit. Like,
So do you think
I don't know
it's
what
like
it
their hit
is.
reg? Do you think it was their update to the server client talking to each other, because they did update that?
You know, when we played on the public test server, a lot of people were saying that, you know, they were overwhelmed. They didn't allocate enough servers for it to
Right.
be enough for the test servers or the for the public. But man, I really hated the new servers, and I kind of feel that you know, I'm not a person that makes games, so I can't 100% say what the problem is.
Mm-hmm.
But what I do know is that when I have decent ping and the other person has decent ping, you know, whether it be like I have 100, which does suck, but that's like the best I
It's
can
not
do.
that bad. It's really
It's
not that
not
bad
that
though.
bad. But the other player has like 20, 30, 40, 50, and I fire a shot and it's clearly lined up, and it just doesn't even exist on the server. Like that right there, just it kind of sets me off, you know, a little bit. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think it might be the servers again. I don't know, but I don't like them so far. I feel like this
Yeah.
season's been the weirdest season. Something is off, and I don't know what it is. Whatever they changed, I'm not a big fan of. You know.
Right. Now, I don't think it is like the servers per se. It could be a factor. It could be like a small factor, but
Mm-hmm.
you know, I think maybe more it's the code. It's the actual hit reg. Because I agree, it doesn't feel like shots are hitting, man.
Yeah,
It
I would agree with that.
And that's why I say, like, going back to season one, like, I almost wish there was a way. Uh, it's just like how some people did with World of Warcraft. They opened up a completely original server. They
The
pirated that.
vanilla.
They exactly the vanilla server. This was originally like pirated underground. I would love to play again like season one of this game. No
That
downloadable
would be
operators.
awesome. Yeah, just the basics.
Right, just the basics, because it's then bringing it back to only the basic operators, but now we know how to play the game. It's no longer just that run and shoot. We have no idea. It's Call of Duty with abilities, blah blah blah. Now it's Rainbow Six, but it'd just be so vanilla. And I feel like the hit reg would be so on point. Maybe it would. Maybe it was season two, whatever season in the early days. I want to bring it back to that.
Now, let's talk about the meta. We have three new operators. Ying. I don't know why the hell the pros are forcing Ying. You know, I'm just gonna admit that there. I
Really?
don't think she's. I don't like her. I don't think she's a great addition to the game. She has potential, and maybe they haven't really figured out how to utilize her. But I don't really like Ying. What do you think about the meta? Do you think it's all trap oriented now, such as you know, Lesion, Ella? I mean, we've seen
Mm,
Ella played a lot recently
yeah.
because of her
No. We.
scorpion. Her scorpion is ridiculous.
It's broken.
That's the thing. Like her things are great, but her scorpion's retarded. 51 rounds. What are they thinking with that, right?
No.
Like,
That is absolutely
it needs to
broken,
be
man.
toned down, like
Is it
35 rounds, 31 rounds, or something like that.
so? Well, they talked about in the TTS that it's going to have wilder recoil, but is
Really?
yeah, it's going to have
Hmm.
it's going to get it's going to lose its track faster or something, and then it's going to not center as quickly, something like that. So it's going to be a little harder to control at least.
I wonder if it's going to be like they're just going to completely screw it up like they did with the original 5.56 for Thermite, where you fire 3 rounds and you were looking at the ceiling. That recoil was ridiculous. I wonder if it'll be
Yeah.
something like that. You know, because usually games they go like when they nerf it, like they like truly nerf it, and then they throttle it back a little bit. I wonder how that'll work out. But do you think that the new meta is the best that the game's had that has been seen yet? Like the trap meta,
Mm,
the Ala meta. What do you think about that? Because
I
we've
don't.
actually seen Echo come back or actually come into the game, which is
Right.
phenomenal, actually.
Right. And I think for you that's like extra like, ooh, yay. But no, I don't. I don't think this is the best meta per se. This has also brought back like a little bit of the smoke meta. Pardon me, with
Because of
this.
the changes of it.
Right, with this update and that Ying. Well, I think so. That's why people choose Ying, right? You say you don't see the use of Ying, right? But she has smoke grenades. Awesome in this, especially in this update of the game.
Right.
And then she has those flash nades, which she can utilize, over anybody else. But it's still the fact that on maps like Oregon, on Cafe, you can do these risky, fast drops and plants. I know that one time you planted in the corner. I wasn't aware of that corner plant in the bar on top of Cafe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then I saw that being used in Pro League. I'm like, oh, now I get it. Like, look at this guy using the pro tactics. All right.
Yeah. Hey, well, I mean, you got to make it happen, right? We needed the win. I think we were like 3-4. We were on the losing edge, and we needed it to happen. And,
yeah.
I still have that video actually.
But
I need to post that.
This meta's kind of boring, man. I at least I think it is. I don't know what are your thoughts on why, or at least this trap meta that broken Ella. Why do you think Ying is not also useful personally?
I don't know. Like I've seen, maybe it's because I don't like Ying because I find her useless in the sense that, like, to me, her gadget was to be like, you get inside the room quickly. Like, it forces you to fast play within the seconds that it's either traveling or they are going up into the air and exploding. It forces you to play very, very fast. And first of all, Jaeger could just completely destroy it. So, like, you have to, pick and choose where you want to throw it. But it forces you to fast push a room. So it changes the pace of your character on the fly. So normally, you'd slow peek or whatever. Like, you would slow peek, and then you'd have to, like, get in there real fast and boom, good to go. And then sometimes you'd flash your own teammates. And I think the fact that it does flash the teammates is, like, it's a big hindrance. Like, if it didn't flash the teammates, I think that would be, like, awesome. She would be, like, in the meta all the time. But we're seeing crazy things. Like, I don't know who it was. It was the first team to play against Rogue. And I can't think of it, but they were doing some janky shit. They were doing some janky stuff. Go ahead and change that for YouTube because you can't curse anymore. I'm sorry about that. I'm just gonna redo it. You can cut it out. So they were doing some janky stuff for the clubhouse where they were just dropping it from the kitchen, and then all 5 of them were just jumping down into the hatch, and there was blinding everyone. And it was like, what are you doing? Like, you're flashing your own teammates. Do you not understand? I also don't think that it's that good of an operator because most of the time you're not going to be able to really use them in a wall per se. Like, what are you going to do? You're going to flash, you're going to fuse the wall and then run all the way around. By that time, everybody's unflashed. Like, I just figured that it's not as useful as some of the pros make it out to be. And the fact that they haven't really utilized Ying to the fullest potential, and we're almost going to land soon, it just shows me that maybe there's some meta that's boiling, in the works that's gonna really rear its ugly head. Maybe Penta's sitting in the background like, yeah, you guys don't know how to use Ying. We're gonna drop it on you and land, and then nobody's gonna know how to counter it. Maybe that's the thing. But from the outside looking in, I don't see her that viable. Her weapon is trash. Sure, it has 81 rounds, but it has low damage, and it's an LMG, for fuck's sake. I don't even know why LMGs are in the game. The recoil sucks. The recoil pattern is really weird, actually. It fires one round exactly where it's supposed to be, and then the rest of them kind of climb a little bit, and then they all kind of hover around, kind of like the AK in Counter-Strike, except for less, not as exaggerated, where the bullets are traveling through the top of the rifle, like out of the ejector.
Right.
And her shotgun is just, why would you even use that, right? Why would you even equip that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously memes, right?
Why?
That's
right. It's just for fun, right? But you do got a point. The smokes are great. She obviously has the ability to use flashbangs, but I just don't see why you wouldn't take another operator, whether it be Thatcher or, obviously Habana is going to be included, or Sledge, or even Buck. Like, I don't see why you would replace those core operators for something less effective. Why? Like, I mean, like, I think then that's why we're seeing, like, the smoke meta coming back, right? If smokes are that important, maybe they're pretty important.
It's worth it to have 3 people with smoke grenades. You need, everybody lost one, so you kind of have to make up with the numbers. And the game is a headshot game, right? We are talking about the Pro League. These guys are supposed to be the best shots, right? So I mean, yeah, the gun has a weird recoil pattern, but these people hit those headshots like 90% of the time. And, obviously I'm over exaggerating, but they're good. They're good, right?
I mean, yeah, I guess, to each their own with every operator. But personally, I just don't feel her Candela is that useful. You're not going to really use it on hatches because most of the hatches are going to be reinforced. You're not going to be able to really use it on the walls because those walls are going to be they're going to be reinforced. You're not going to really find any roamers out there to soft wall breach them because it's pro league. You know, most of the people have their locations. It's kind of neat that you roll underneath the door, but again, I don't see her being that good of an operator. I feel like she's very forced. But again, you know, the season's not over. They could be something cooking that they haven't shown yet to us. But as far as I've seen, Ying is not that great. Lesion is pretty good, but she's kind of, he's kind of not really played that much actually. He had like a low pick rate, I believe, when I was watching it. I didn't really see him that much, but
now I know you really like to play him though, right?
Yeah, I need to make a video about him actually. I haven't done one.
All right, put that on the board. Make video about Lesion. Okay.
Exactly.
But you really enjoy him. You and I kind of said earlier in a different podcast that we think he would be pretty impactful into the pro league, right?
I think I was the guy that said Lesion, but you hit it on the head when you hit Ella. I just want to clarify that. He said Ella would be the person to really look out for, and you're 100% right. But I believe Lesion was the guy to go to, but apparently he's not. So anyways, continue.
Well, so if you could kind of micro buff him to kind of give him a better pick rate, what would you change him? Because we already know like Ella needs to be debuffed. She needs to have a nerf come to her because she's overpowered now. And we see them buff people, kind of shadow buff sometimes. But what would you want to see to him, even if it was like a shadow buff? What would you want to see to him to kind of bring up his pick rate?
If I could bring up the pick rate of Lesion, it would be kind of a wonky thing, but I would actually let him be a 3-speed because here's the thing: is that Lesion, the longer Lesion is alive, the more deadlier he becomes. Because in the end, you can't really plant with the diffuser on you. You can't plant with the goo trap on you. So because you have to hit F to remove it, the goo trap, and it's the same key to plant. So he becomes deadlier the longer the game goes. He's going to be played as an anchor. So I would actually like to see him get an ACOG and be a 3 armor. I think if that was a thing, Lesion would be almost in every single game. Like I think he would take over a lot of operators. That's a huge buff. That's a huge buff.
Yeah, that's a huge buff. Like the ACOG is I mean they're curbing that on defense. They're taking it away from defenders left and right. And you're like, nah, we need to add it to this guy right here.
I would love that because I mean he knows where people are coming from. He's right. Now maybe a shadow buff that I would like to see. Maybe not a major overhaul. Oh, I don't know why I said that. Major overhaul would be the allowance for the team to see exactly where his goo traps are, but with a very high opacity. Is that what?
Opacity. Yeah, opacity.
Opacity. Yeah, but so basically they could see it, but it's very light. You know what I mean? So they can kind of see where the enemy is pushing. That would be a little bit more of a rank buff, but I think that would be a little neat addition to the game because I mean it's not that big of a deal to have that stuff on the screen. So or maybe at least give the ability to add it into the options. So that way you can see it if you want to, or you can check it. You know what I mean? That would be a really cool shadow buff for him. I think that would really help him out.
Yeah, I think that's a fair thing. Now, I did see somebody in chat said they would like to see a little bit more damage on the spikes. I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it too. I think that would be a little bit too strong because we are talking about something that stops plants from going down, that slows people down. You can't sprint. It's also an indicator. It obscures their vision. It's an indicator from where they're pushing from. So even if they've snuck up behind you, when you hear that glass break and that gas release, it's something that immediately should alert you if you're sound touring.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think the traps are fine. I don't think there's anything that should be done to them. So
now, what I think would be an interesting thing, though, now tell me what your thoughts are on this, is if he had a set allowance of traps.
Like if he has 7 and he can just do whatever he wants with them.
Right. Or I mean, like even because they're low and he should have a set. I know he has a set allowance within game time. A game can only go on so long and it only can recharge so many times. But so yeah, if he only had like 7 or 8 and he can only place them down, he can pick them up. But if he had to place them down and he can only throw them when he needs them, I think that'd be kind of an interesting take.
I think that'd be kind of cool, but there's a problem with that in my opinion. Now, most of the pros, if you look at the pick rates of all the operators, specifically defense operators, they pick operators that go off of passive abilities or something where they can set it and forget it, so that way it still helps the team out. So Jaeger, for example, you put down the ADS, and you could do whatever the hell you want to. You could put your barbed wire. You can roam all day. There's nothing. If you die, it's not going to help your team out. Like, I mean, of course, it's not going to help your team because you're dead, but the gadgets are still going to be there. Now, if Pulse dies, you lose the ability to see through walls. Now, if you're a Lesion and you automatically get those traps without having to wait for them to, tick back into your inventory, if you will, then you could just throw them. You can set it and forget it and go roam and do your thing. Now, I think that would be too much of a buff, because you're completely changing the way he's played. He's no longer an anchor or a passive player. He's now an aggressive player that could do whatever he wants and still let his team know, hey, there's a trap over here, and he could be on cams if he dies. I don't know. I think that's just way too much, because I don't like that set and forget it mentality for operators. Like, I feel like the pros are just on it too hard. So, I mean, yeah, it would make sense, but I think it'd be too much of a buff as opposed to making him a 3 armor operator. But that's just my personal opinion.
Right. Now, it's something that would get his pick rate up, obviously.
Yeah,
if we talk about the, like you said, the passive ability. But even Ella, she has her set amount.
That's true.
I mean, clearly she's set in her roamer stance. I agree. Okay, you're right. You're right about that. She's one of those people that has a set it forget it mentality and can be a roamer. But if we kind of put them on that same level, her gun is clearly overpowered for that. His gun is not that overpowered.
That's true. You got a point there. I think that's a valid argument. It could go both ways. It could be slightly overpowered, but I think you make a good point there. It would be an interesting shadow buff. More. No, you got a point. No, that would be an interesting shadow buff. I think I would like that.
Now, if they did give him an ACOG, though, yeah, okay, fine. They can recharge all day. I don't even care about that. Make him a 3 armor, make him a fatty, and stick him on site, because that's ACOGs on defense. It's overpowered. I mean, it used to be very overpowered, but give all the fatties ACOGs. That's my stance.
So now we've talked about the trap, Matt. Is there anything else on Rainbow Six that's been happening lately? There's new skins that came out. There's new skins. The new chibis that came out. If you guys didn't buy those, go buy those. Pretty cool. I bought them, so I have all the charms and everything. If you guys like that. You
had to wait a long time.
Yeah, they sent me an email saying that they good stuff, and still kind of ticked about it, But
yeah.
I mean, they at least they apologize. That's pretty cool Ubisoft to do. It's always nice to see a company show their, like, whoops, we made an accident. Sorry about that, bro. I appreciate that.
No,
but
that's true.
I don't know if anything else. Interrobang is now the new caster. He's been in a new edition. What do you think about him? And
he's fun,
Kicks?
Man. Well,
I like him a lot too.
I like Interrobang. I think he does a fantastic job. No matter who he's casting with, I think he's very fun. He's got a great personality. He
researches his stuff though. He knows what he's talking about. Not like in a pro sense, like, because you always have Kickstar going like, well, when I was in season 1, we had to walk both ways up the hill. He always brings these stories. That's great. It makes him relatable. Like, he knows what he's talking about. But like Interrobangs, he does the analysis. Like, he knows what he's like kind of talking about, not in the sense of kicks, but like in a sense of the fact that he's done the research, he's watched the VOD, he's rewatched them, he knows the attacks, and like I like that about a caster, the ones that like they're not just going off on the fly like, yeah, I think Infamy's a good team. Well, no shit, they're a good team. They're in the pro league.
Right,
You know what I mean?
right. Yeah.
Let's get some analysis going on, and then you have Interrobangs on there. It's like, well, statistically, they've been pushing top of cafe red hatch almost every single time on attack. So I'm just going to go ahead and say that that's what they're going to do. But I absolutely love Interrobangs and the Kicks commentary. I think they're a great team. I think Imzo is back now doing some things with Bloodbath. Now, I don't know if that's, I guess we can kind of cover that. Kicks made a video talking, or he said live on stream.
It was on his stream. It was on his stream.
Yeah, that he wasn't too happy with Bloodbath, and he wishes that he was not, casting with Bloodbath. So I guess they kind of maybe doing Interrobangs in there, and now things are looking pretty great. They're really great casters, and they work really well together. So if you guys haven't seen them, definitely go check them out. And Interrobangs, we'll put a link in the description down for the YouTube, so you can go follow him. On Twitter, he always has a bunch of good stuff to say. But I like him.
I really like him too, man.
Cool guy.
I think he does some really nice color commentating. It's fun. It's fun to listen to him, and he takes good notes. You're absolutely right. He takes great notes in between rounds. What's happening? That's what I like about what's
him.
Been up with the players. Definitely a fantastic addition to the casting of Rainbow Six Pro League, and I really do hope that this is only the beginning for him. That this is only going to grow him in different directions.
Right. So far, honestly, he's like he's probably my favorite caster, other than Punji Stick and Panky. Now, let's just be honest, in my opinion, man. Panky, bro, you're the best, man. Where you at, dude? Panky, dude, you were the best, dude.
Love you, Panky, man.
I love Panky, man. I love Panky so much. So I miss him. But Interrobangs, definitely, he's probably my favorite caster now. He's solid, dude. He's solid. He knows what he's talking about, like statistic wise. So now another thing that I guess chat brought up is mid-season reinforcement patch is not coming. I haven't heard that. I haven't really been following that. I did see that they're talking about it on Reddit, like, hey, where's it at, bro?
Right.
But
now, if I recall, I could be wrong.
I don't know.
I could be wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong, though. They had said they're not going to be doing a mid-season this season because of the changes it would bring and the players in Pro League, right? Because when you bring these types of things, it obviously affects the main game. It affects everybody. It's going to affect the pros. It's going to affect LAN. It's going to affect if there's a big enough change to an operator, how an operator works. Yeah, it's something that they can't exactly just like shove out right away and be like, yep, deal with it. You got 3 weeks to learn this little bit of change we made. So it kind of makes sense.
I don't like it.
Right. It kind of makes sense to me that they're not going to be doing it this season, especially after Operation Health. But I don't know, man. It's kind of interesting to see how they're handling this post Operation Health. The game to me doesn't feel the same.
I prefer that they hold all the major changes until the end of a season, the Pro League season, but I would really like for them to immediately fix broken bugs. For instance, there was the bank glitch, the vault glitch, the bank thing where you can underneath the thing, the walls, and all this crazy stuff. You can go through walls. It was just insane, right? It took them like, I don't know how long to fix that. Now, there's other game companies out there. I'm not going to mention them yet because this is Rainbow Six Podcast, but there's other people that are fixing game-breaking bugs within a week, and this is a popular game. We're talking like at least 20,000 viewers on Twitch right now. So it's a very popular game. They're fixing things super, super fast, and I really wish that they would hammer those in instead of kind of working on the mid-season reinforcement patches. But I don't know if that's the case or not. That's been happening, but I really wish they would work on those because there's nothing more demoralizing in a game when you get killed from underneath the map. Right. That's still happening.
No,
please, man.
You're right, man. You're right. And now, do you think that has to do with like the engine that they're using? Because it's something they had to update to make it easier to implement.
Yeah.
So do you think it's just something that if will get easier over time that they'll be updating?
Well, they did do the changes for the foundation, the framework of the game. So maybe it will. we have to hold out. But it is unfortunate because we're coming up on the second year of the game, and we're still having that a thing. Like I said, when you have game companies that are now releasing major changes to video games and adding things like Battle Eye within 2 weeks of the game release, it makes you wonder, like, well, are they going to be competitive? But I think the thing that they really don't need to worry about, and in my opinion, why they don't really, they care, obviously, but I'm saying, like, there's no super rush for it, is that there's no competition for Rainbow. There's nothing like it. You get one experience, they monopolize it, they hold the keys to the kingdom for that genre. They have the niche, they have the best game on the market for it. There's nothing that can compete with Rainbow, in my opinion. Anything. Like, Counter-Strike's great, but it doesn't do
it's a different
anything.
Game.
It's a completely different game. Sure, it's an FPS game, but it's a different game entirely, and they hold it. They could do whatever they want. They could take as long as they want because nobody can compete with them. No, so maybe that's the thing. Maybe that's the reason why. I don't know.
No, I think you're right. I mean, the only game that comes close to, like, this style is, like, Battlefield. I don't like Destructible. I don't gameplay not really the same, but the destructibility. It's like if Call of Duty and Battlefield had a baby, it'd be like Rainbow Six. It's fast paced.
I don't know. Like, I think the destructibility is, like, the biggest selling point.
Yeah.
But the fact that it is at its core a 5v5 with special operators or heroes, if you will. So I think that's the selling point.
So you're saying it's like a MOBA meets a shooter.
Yeah, kind of. I would say it is kind of more like that, in my opinion, than a Battlefield. Because, like, to me, Battlefield's like 60 versus 60 or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, dude. How is that even competitive? I have no idea. I need to look at that, man. I saw some video about Level Cab talking about it, but I don't know how that's even competitive. But yeah, I don't see it like Battlefield. I see it more like a MOBA style because the certain special operators can do certain things at certain times that can win you the game.
Right.
Let's say you thermite a special hole that will, like back in the day, if you can successfully open up here for, basement, then there's a high chance you're going to win right there.
Oh, yeah.
So,
but again, that's going back to when strats were like,
old school.
Right. If I see, like, I don't know an angle to hold, I'm just going to sit at these barrels in the open and hopefully get a pick on you. Like, that's how it was, I feel like. It was just that very
old school mentality.
Right. I know a lot of players, like, especially back in the day, like Season 1, a lot of them played Insurgency as well, which was like Counter-Strike mod or Source mod, I guess I should say. Source Engine mod.
Yeah.
And, very similar in the sense it was more of a realistic shooter. If you got hit in the head, you're done. You can lean in the game. It didn't play exactly like Counter-Strike. It didn't play exactly like Call of Duty. But so then when Rainbow, like, yeah, they were the best game when it came out, and they still hold that niche. But
the title.
Right, that title.
They're the kings of it, dude. There's nobody that can compete with them. And I kind of want to see it, like, maybe go a little bit different way, though, because, again, what do they say? Competition breeds innovation.
Yes.
So you have, like, big games like I said, Fortnite and PUBG, they're rivals. They're pushing content, trying to beat each other, right? But like, the people that are winning, it's like a win-win for, like, everybody. PUBG gets views and people, Fortnite gets views and people.
PUBG is one of the highest played games of all time right now, of concurrent players. And, like, speaking of, so that's the apex right now, though, of shooters. The nadir of shooters, I don't know if you heard this, quick interjection. Lawbreakers has 10 concurrent players.
Oh my God, that game is dead.
Yeah, so I mean, just to show you, on the spectrum of newer games that have come out with this innovation, competition breeds innovation, they couldn't find something new to grasp onto. They had no innovation. Like, you hit the nail on the head with it. You really did. You called it.
We talked about that in one of our podcasts, and I really didn't believe that it was special. It wasn't very fun. The weapon balances were terrible. The heroes or operators, I don't know what the hell they were called. The specialized people weren't very special. Like, it was just too much. They try to make it way too much, and it was nothing special. And it is unfortunate that a lot of people probably lose their job, but it wasn't a very fun game. But going back to what I said with the whole thing, the customers also win. The customers win whenever two or three companies are battling each other, and I would like for it to happen. Now, there is going to be a game that will rival Rainbow Six. You can quote me on this. I said it like a year ago.
Yeah.
The market is there. If somebody can do what they're doing and improve it and make it better, they will do it. It's a money maker. You make chests and you're gonna make money.
Right. Now there was like back in the day, through the grapevine. Now this was like only a cinematic video, but it was a game. I think they just called it like SWAT. That was it. But it's supposed to be
simple.
Right, simple, right? It's very straightforward. Lets you know exactly what the game's about. SWAT. At least Rainbow Six people have to know Tom Clancy. But so do you think that that's going to be the competition that we need when that comes out?
Honestly, it would have to be a big PC company. Like, let's say if Valve, they're not going to do it.
Right.
But let me not say that. That's probably reaching too far. But let's say a big company, Valve, Epic, Riot, or whoever. If somebody decides like, bro, we can do this, we can beat these guys, you best believe that there's probably something in the works, because people want this. They want Rainbow. They want it to work. It's a beautiful game. It's one of the best games I've ever played in my life. I absolutely love this game so much. And if they can convince me that there's a better version of it, just like Fortnite and PUBG. Like, I love Fortnite. I don't like PUBG, but like, you see what I'm saying? Like, the competition, if they can do that, then you best believe that it'll breed some innovation, and it'll probably get Ubisoft to move a lot faster, which is a win-win for customers, like, and everybody, dude. So I would like to see that happen. I don't know if it'll happen, but we'll see.
No, I think it'd be really cool if a big company picked it up. Like, again, I don't know much about SWAT or whatever the game's name is that's supposed to rival Rainbow Six.
I don't remember. It was like a red neon light.
Yeah.
Dude, they breached into the wall or the door, and they were shooting. I don't know. I saw the cinematic. I don't know what the game was called, but
yeah. But it's if a big company picks it up, because in the same way that Ubisoft had picked up whatever the demo of this game was that was also made in like Source Engine. If that happened with that game, if we had someone like Activision, like, oh yeah, we'll make this game, like, because we have boatloads of money sitting around, like, we just made Destiny 2, like, we got a whole team working over there, they just made $1 billion, like, come on, we'll make this game. I'd love for that to happen too. I think you're right. If we had a company that picked it up, that'd be awesome. That changed the entire game. That changed the landscape of destructible shooters.
Yeah, in my opinion, I don't know if it'd be like they picked them up, like they picked up the dev team, because obviously, like, I love the dev team. I think they're awesome people. I don't really necessarily mean like pick them up, but I mean like another company build up another game and then they compete. That's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah, no, I just know that that does happen a lot within the industry. Even a smaller studio can get picked up by a publisher, and then they get money. Right, they get money pumped into them to help make the game even more polished.
Okay, I see what you're saying now. Okay, yeah, I thought you said it's like somebody else pick it up. But go back to the original question with the I think they use the Assassin's Creed engine for the game.
Yeah.
I think I would like to see them completely wipe it and rebuild it. I would definitely take a graphic hit and go for worse graphics and make the game more playable. Like, even Black Squad, is that what it's called? Or
yeah,
that game looks like crap, but if it runs and works well, yeah, I'll play that over anything else. So,
right, and I mean, spoiler alert, it looks like crap. It runs on Unreal 3, again, another Unreal Engine game. Unreal 3 being a little bit of an older version of the program, but it runs great on every computer. It looks like crap, but it will run on a piece of crap hardware machine. Like, if you can only afford like a Chromebook with 2 gigabytes of what's it called, of RAM, it'll still be able to run it. Like, that's how easy it is to work with that.
Yeah, makes sense. We have 1 minute and 1 minute and 30 seconds left remaining, guys, until we hit 1 hour.
Holy crap!
Exactly,
really?
at 1 hour. Yeah. So that way we can go ahead and play some other games. I don't know. You guys want me to play some Evil Within or for, I don't know. Anyways, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. Is there anything else you want to say about anything to the audience?
Yeah. Thanks for tuning back in, guys. We really appreciate it. I know it's been a little bit since we've done this. Yeah,
we'll do it next week again for sure.
But we really do appreciate if you tuned in live. I mean, it was also it's also Saturday right now. Now, just this quick little shout out for me. Technically, it is now my birthday today, so happy birthday to me.
Happy birthday, dude! I didn't know that. Oh my god.
Yeah. So that's
28, right? 28.
Yeah, 28 years old.
Oh my goodness, dude! Happy birthday, my friend.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
Awesome, man.
So that's I'm happy we could do this, another podcast on the day, bring it into the day. It's really been it's great to be back. I'm happy that we are here, guys.
Yeah, we took a little bit of a breather, guys. So don't worry, we're gonna be bringing it back to you. So we'll see you guys Friday for another live podcast in the morning, 9 a.m. This episode will be put on Game Addict's channel. We'll discuss, later on what we're going to be doing. But anyways, with that, guys, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you guys on Friday.